Welcome to Fairy Tale. This is episode 6. Episode 6. Last episode was Little Ida's Flowers. It's a lovely story of magic, and springtime, and dancing, and imagination. Lovely story. Lovely story. Today, we're going to read The Storks on episode 6 of Fairy Tales. On the last house in a little village, the storks had built a nest, and the mother stork sat in it with her 4 young ones, who stretched out their necks and pointed their black beaks, which had not yet turned red like those of the parent birds. A little way off, on the edge of the roof, stood a father stork, quite upright and stiff. Not liking to be quite idle, he drew up one leg and stood on the other, so still it seemed almost as if he were carved of wood. It must look very grand, he thought, for my wife to have a sentry guarding her nest. They do not know that I am her husband. They will think I have been commanded to stand here, which is quite aristocratic. And so he continued, standing on one leg. In the street below were a number of children at play, and when they caught sight of the stork, one of the boldest among the boys began to sing a song about them, and very soon he was joined by the rest. These are the words of the song, but each only sang what he could remember of them in his own way. Stork, stork, fly away, stand not on one leg, I pray. See your wife in her nest, with her little ones at rest. They will hang one and fry another. They will shoot a third and roast his brother. Oh, children are so cruel. And they are. You were a child once, I was a child once. We are monsters when we're children. Cute little monsters, but monsters nonetheless. So just hear what those boys are singing, said the young stork. They say we shall be hanged and roasted. Never mind what they say. You need not listen, said the mother. They can do no harm. But the boys went on singing and pointing at the storks and mocking at them. Except one of the boys, whose name was Peter. He said it was a shame to make fun of the animals. I would not join them at all. The mother stork comforted her young ones and told them not to mind. See, she said, how quiet your father stands, although he is only on one leg. But we are very much frightened, said the young storks, and they drew back their heads into the nests. The next day, when the children were playing together and saw the storks, they sang the song again. They will hang one and roast the other. Shall we be hanged and roasted? Asked the young storks. No, certainly not, said the mother. I will teach you to fly, and when you have learned, we will fly into the meadows and pay visit to the frogs, who will bow themselves to us in the water and cry, croak, croak, and then we shall eat them up. That will be fun. And what next? Asked the young storks. Then, replied the mother, all the storks in the country will assemble together and go through their autumn maneuvers. Then, replied the mother, all the storks in the country will assemble together and go through their autumn euphemism. So that it's very important for everyone to know how to fly properly. If they do not, the general will thrust through them with the beak and kill them. Therefore, you must make plans to take pains and learn, so to be ready as when the drilling begins. Then we may be killed after all, as the boys say. And hark, they are singing again. Listen to me and not to them, said the mother stork. After a great review is over, we shall fly away to warm countries far from here, where the mountains and the forest where the mountains are, listen to me and not to them, said the mother stork. After a great review is over, After the great review is over, we shall fly away to warm countries far from here hence, where there are mountains and forests, to Egypt, where we shall see three-cornered house buildings of stone, with pointed tops that reach nearly to the clouds. They're called pyramids. And the older than a stork could imagine, and even in that country, there was a river that overflows its banks, and then goes back, leaving nothing but mire. There we can walk about and eat frogs in abundance. Oh, oh, cried the young storks. Yes, it is a delightful place. There is nothing to do all day long but eat. And my brain's a little tilty today. Please forgive me. But I'm going to get through this. Nope, do not look ahead to see how far you have left to go. Slow down. Take your time. No one's in a hurry here. Right? Right. Yes, it is a delightful place. There is nothing to do all day long but eat. And while we are so well off out there, in this country there will not be a single green leaf on the trees, and the weather will be so cold that the clouds will freeze and fall on the earth in little white rags. Oh, snowflakes. The stork meant snow, but she could not explain it in any other way. Will the naughty boys freeze and fall in pieces? Asked the young storks. No, they will not freeze and fall into pieces, said the mother, but they will be very cold and be obliged to sit all day in a dark, gloomy room, while we shall be flying about in foreign lands where there are blooming flowers and warm sunshine. Time passed on. The young storks grew so large that they could stand upright in the nest and look about them. The father brought them every day beautiful frogs, little snakes, and all kinds of stork dainties that he could find. And then, how funny it was to see the tricks he would perform to amuse them. He would lay his head quite round over his tail and chatter with his beak as if he had been a rattle, and then he would tell them stories about the marshes and the fens. Excuse me. Come, said the mother one day. Now you must learn to fly. And all the four young ones were obliged to come out on the top of the roof. Oh, now you must learn to fly. And all the four young ones were obliged to come out on top of the roof. Oh, how they tottered at first, and were obliged to balance themselves with their wings, or they would have fallen to the ground. Look at me, said the mother. You must hold your heads this way, and place your feet so. Once, twice, that's it. Now you will be able to take care of yourselves in the world. Then she flew a little distance from them, and the young one made a sprint to follow her. But down they fell plump, for their bodies were still too heavy. I don't want to fly, said the young storks, creeping back into the nest. I don't care about warmer countries. Would you like to stay here and freeze when the winter comes, said the mother, or till the boys come to hang you or to roast you? Well, then, I'll call them. No, said the young stork, jumping out on the roof with the others, and now they're all attentive, and by the third day could fly a little. They then began to fancy they could soar, so they tried to do so, resting on their wings, but they soon found themselves falling, and had to flap their wings as quickly as possible. The boys came again in the streets singing their songs. Stork, stork, fly away. I'm going to add an eyeball. Right there. So I can quit looking at my face, because my face is making my head do funny things when I need to be looking at that. This is going to be a difficult read. We're going to get through it, though. I'm going to read this whole damn story. Even if it means no one end up watching this one because I'm mumbling through it so badly. I'm reading the story. Focus. I cheated. But it's okay, I'm a page away. I'm going to tell you right now, this story is just not entertaining me, and that's why I can't focus on it. Bunch of kids picking on storks. I don't know. Yeah, we're going to get through it, though. We're going to finish the story. Stork, stork, fly away. Hey, kitty face. Are you going to come help? Because you are never very helpful. Want to meet my kitty face? My kitty face. Calypso. Say hi, Calypso. Hi, Calypso. Okay, she's very irritated by this moment, so I'm going to let her go. She'll stand on me later and leave bruises. See, I'm still looking at my face. Stork, stork, fly away. Shall we fly down and pick out their eyes? Asked the young stork. No, leave them alone, said the mother. Listen to me, that is much more important. Now then, 1, 2, 3. Now to the right, 1, 2, 3. Now to the left, round the chimney. There now. That was very good. That last flap of wing was so easy and graceful that I shall give you permission to fly with me tomorrow to the marshes. There will be a number of very superior storks there with their families, and I expect you to show them that my children are the best brought up of any who may be present. You must strut about proudly. It will look well and make you respected. But may we not punish those naughty boys? Asked the young stork. No, let them scream away as much as they like. You can fly from them now up high amid the clouds, and will be in the land of the pyramids when they are freezing, and have not green leaf on the trees or an apple to eat. We will revenge ourselves, whispered the young storks to each other as they joined the exercising. Uh-oh. Foreshadowing. All of the boys in the street who sang and mocked among the storks, not one was determined to go with all of the boys in the street who sang the mocking song about the storks. Not one was so determined to go on with it. He was first to begin, as he who first began it. Yet he was a little fellow, not more than 6 years old. To the young storks he appeared at least 100, for he was much bigger than their father and mother. To be sure, storks cannot be expected to know how old children and grown-up people are, so they determined to have their revenge on this boy, because he began the song first and would keep on with it. The young storks were very angry and grew worse as they grew older, so at last their mother was obliged to promise that they should be revenged, but not until the day of their departure. Terrible children. Not listening. Revenge, bad juju. We must see first how you acquit yourselves at the grand review, said she. If you get on there badly, the general will thrust his beak through you, and you will be killed, as the boy said, though not exactly in the same manner, so we must wait and see. You shall see, said the young birds, as they took such pains and practice to do well every day. At last it was quite you shall see, said the young birds, and then they took such pains and practiced so well every day that at last it was quite a pleasure to see them fly so lightly and prettily. As soon as the autumn arrived, all the storks began to assemble together before taking their departure for warm countries during the winter. Then the review commenced. They flew over forests and villages to show what they could do, for they had a long journey before them. The young storks performed their parts so well that they received a mark of honor with frogs and snakes as presents. These presents were the best part of all of the affair, and they could eat the frogs and snakes, which they did very quickly. I would too. That sounds delicious if I was a stork. Now let us have our revenge, they cried. Now let us have our revenge, they cried. Yes, certainly, cried the mother stork. I have thought upon the best way to be revenged. I know the pond in which the little children lie, waiting till the storks come and take them to their parents. I want to read this again. Yes, certainly, cried the mother stork. I have thought upon the best way to be revenged. I know the pond in which all the little children lie, waiting till the storks come to take them to their parents. The prettiest little babies lie there dreaming more sweetly than they will ever dream in the time to come. All parents are glad to have the little child, and children are so pleased with a little brother and sister. Now we will fly to the pond and fetch a baby for each of the children who did not sing that naughty song to make game of the storks. But the naughty boy who began the song first, what shall we do to him? Cried the young stork. There lies in the pond a little dead baby who had dreamt itself to death, said the mother. We will take it to the naughty boy, and he will cry because we have brought him a little dead brother. But you have not forgotten the good boy who said it was a shame to laugh at animals. We will take him a little brother and sister too, because he was good. He is called Peter, and you shall all be called Peter in the future. So they did what their mother arranged, and from that day even till now, all the storks have been called Peter. So I super struggled through this one. So yeah. But we made it. I finished the story. I'm proud of myself for finishing the story. Like I said, I will get better at this. This is only sick. Look at how thick this book is. By the end of this book, I expect to have a good, clear, strong voice and a powerful ability to read out loud. Until then, one day at a time. Good evening.